It's eclipse season. We just had a lunar eclipse and now we're going to have a solar eclipse. So today we're going to take a look at how this solar eclipse is going to impact the world and all of us. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste. Aham Brahmasmi. Before I even speak about the solar eclipse, I just want to remind you that the Pitra Paksha or Shraadh is still going on, and the last day to do the ritual is October 2nd. This is the ritual or remedy to receive the blessings from the departed ancestors. I'd made a video on what it is and how to do it. In case you missed it, I will add a link to the video in the description box of this video. So please do watch it and do the remedy or the ritual so you can receive the very powerful blessings in your life as well. So make sure you do the ritual for the Pitra Paksha. So we are in eclipse season. We already experienced the lunar eclipse on September 17th, and now 2 weeks after that, on October 2nd, we will experience the solar eclipse, second one of 2024. Now this eclipse will be visible in parts of South America. In North America, it will only be visible in the state of Hawaii, and also visible in Antarctica and the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. So it will start approximately at 6 a.m. Hawaii time. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, regardless of whether the solar eclipse is visible in an area or not, it has an effect on the whole world. But the impact of the places of visibility is a lot more intense. So eclipses always occur where Rahu or Ketu or the nodes are transiting in currently. Now, because Ketu is currently transiting in Virgo, this eclipse will occur in the zodiac of Virgo, and it will be in the nakshatra of Hasta. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and would you believe it, Mercury is also going to be in Virgo and within 1 degree of the eclipse. And not only that, Mercury is considered exalted in Virgo, so it will be in a very, very powerful state. Mars will be in Gemini at that time, and it will impact the eclipse via its 4th aspect. Jupiter will be in Taurus, and it will impact it via its 5th aspect. Lastly, Saturn is in Aquarius currently, and Virgo is 8th from it. So it's creating the Shraadh Yoga, which with it. Shraadh Yoga means it's 8th from Saturn, and it's considered a challenging placement. So you see how most of the planets are involved in this eclipse and will have their impact in their own sort of way. So this eclipse is definitely going to be quite powerful and impactful to the world as well as to most of us. Every planet wants to have a say in it. Most importantly, the best way to understand this is that the sun represents our soul, the moon represents our mind, and the earth is our physical body. During a solar eclipse, all these come together in a single straight line. So that means that our mind, body, and soul come together in perfect alignment, and that symbolizes a time of darkness and spiritual renewal. It offers an opportunity for introspection and shedding our old stale energy and beginning with fresh new energy. Solar eclipses are good sometimes. Then this is a period of new beginnings in our life and letting go of the things that no longer hold value in our life or that we no longer need. So it's a good eclipse sometimes. So while the solar eclipse is going on, it's a very good idea to do some mantra chanting, because mantra repetition has the power to reset the body's energy or aura. Let's take a look at what the planets mean during this eclipse. So Mars is a warrior planet, so it imparts some fierce fighting energy. The impact of Saturn usually provides hardships, difficulties, and sadness. But the saving grace in all of this could be the benefic aspect of Jupiter, which will have the power to mitigate or lessen the impact of these two troublesome planets. Now, in order to do some predictions, we take a look at the nakshatra of Hasta and the zodiac of Virgo. So Virgo is the 6th zodiac of all the 12 zodiacs, and it represents some of the challenges of our life, such as health, debts and loans, legal battles, our co-workers, our workplace, and most of the enemies or people that don't wish us well. It also means our daily routine. The nakshatra of Hasta is represented by the symbol of the hand. So this represents the work and effort that we do ourselves, because we rely less on luck, more on our hard work. Hasta is ruled by the moon, but it also carries the energy of the sun god, Savitar. It donates the south direction. So what are some of the general world predictions that can be made based on results of the eclipse, keeping in mind the planets and the energy of Hasta? The sun represents high-level politicians, and as I mentioned, Virgo represents health, as well as legal battles and disputes. So over the next few months, we could see some extreme health issues with high-level politicians, or even the loss of life of one of them, especially if they're very old or ailing. They could be someone that was involved with farming and agriculture. So it was a politician that was involved farming or agriculture. South America is especially sensitive to this energy, so they could have a lot of political unrest, public rioting, and unrest by the public against the government and its politicians due to some policies or changes that the government makes. Also, the possibility of politicians getting involved in very troublesome legal battles, especially in those countries where elections are going to be held over the next couple of months, especially right after the eclipse. So I'm aware of obviously the US election, but also some elections in the states of India. In fact, it also indicates the possibility of some attacks on politicians as well because of the Mars energy. Virgo indicates health, and Ketu represents small microorganisms and worms. So it's possible that there could be some spread of diseases, but only in some areas of the world. However, Jupiter is the significator of good health. So if there is any such occurrence, then it would be contained and controlled very quickly and not have a chance to become a massive outbreak. So we're not very worried about that. Now, Mercury is the significator of communication, finance, accounting, and all business. It also represents the general business world and social media. It's also considered a little bit of a trickster, or the one that goes by the principle by hook or crook. So the chance of financial fraud and scams is very high over the next 6 months. Online and cybercrime via communication devices could be at an all-time high. So my guidance would be to stay extremely alert and vigilant regarding the security of your devices, personal information, and of course your banking apps and all those kind of things. Be suspicious of everyone and don't share any information with anyone. There's a chance of a lot of cybercrime. Since both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans have had visibility of both the lunar and the solar eclipses, the possibility of ocean cyclones and hurricanes is very high. In fact, the last time we had a solar eclipse in Hasta was in October 2005, and it was named the most active Atlantic hurricane season on record, with 22 very violent storms. So there's a chance of that. There's also the possibility of water accidents and disasters during this time. We cannot rule out the war being fought on water or via ocean activity. We had a similar eclipse in 2005 in Hasta, and we also had a lot of powerful earthquakes around that time. So we had several in California, Japan, and many in Southeast Asia, and then the most devastating one was in Pakistan just a couple of days after that eclipse. So unfortunately, we may see very powerful earthquakes over the next few months, especially in South America, because that is the region that had visibility of both the lunar and solar eclipses. Also because the direction of Hasta is south, so we may see them in the southern region, which is, like I said, South America, and in southern parts of the countries. As I mentioned previously, Virgo is the zodiac that signifies enemies. So the intense war that is going on in the Middle East between Israel and Lebanon will intensify due to the aspect of Mars on the eclipse. The sun represents our ego and high-level leaders, with Ketu being headless and the moon being our emotions. So the next few months is about intense battles due to ego and lack of rational thinking by all the politicians. Definitely the chance of war intensifying, all the wars intensifying, is very great because the politicians have ego issues and they're going to just do things or make decisions without thinking. So this is not a good time for ongoing wars that are already, going on in the world. And sadly, this is not a good time for that. I hate to make this prediction, and I hope my prediction is wrong, but that's just the energy of the eclipse at this time. Lastly, I'm going to give you some very interesting detail of what happened in 1986 when we had a similar eclipse in Hasta. Hasta, as I mentioned, represents the hand. On May 25th, 1986, there was a public event that took place across the United States called Hands Across America, where 6.5 million people held hands for 15 minutes in an attempt to create a continuous human hand chain across the US from California to New York. This event was aimed at raising money for poverty and hunger by uniting millions of Americans in a single cause: the power of the astrology of the nakshatra. Don't doubt astrology. Do you see how it works? At this time, I'm going to remind you, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please do share my video with all friends and family. My next video is going to be the predictions for October that everybody's been asking me about, that I'm very late in making, but I still will make it. Also, Jupiter is going to be retrograde, so I'm going to make that video as well. So make sure you do subscribe, and for all those people that have already subscribed, thank you very much. Also, as a reminder, my predictions are based on your ascendant or rising sign, and they're also based on Vedic astrology calculations. And now I move on to your favorite part, the predictions by ascendant. Now, these are really not predictions, but what these are is a guidance, and I'm going to tell you what the solar eclipse is asking for each ascendant or rising sign people to do, what it means for them. So make sure you follow this guidance well. This is really going to help you and benefit you in various ways. So it's really not so much as a prediction as it is more of a guidance. And this guidance is going to work really well for you if you follow it, because that's what the solar eclipse really wants us to do at this time. Aries, this eclipse is happening in your 6th house. The 6th house represents health, loans and debts, enemies, and our daily routine. This is a period where you will need to take care of your health, especially your digestive health. Now, this is a reminder that you will need to think about your habits or daily schedule that may be contributing negatively to your health, and now you will realize that you need to make some changes and have healthier habits and do whatever you can to manage your health a little better. So it's the end of bad health habits and the start of new habits. Maybe even incorporate changes in your daily schedule for improvements in your health. Also, introspect about your relationships with your mother, love life, and children, if you have any that are any problems. Resolve to make changes in your behavior if you have been ignoring them, and this should make you mentally more relaxed and happy. Also, try to put an end to financial debts and loans. Do your best to pay them off if you have any, and start to live a debt-free life. Try your best to get along with others, especially co-workers, and don't take on a combative approach in your communication or your behavior. Life will be much more enjoyable. Pay close attention to your communication and speech, and stay positive, professional, and courteous at all times, especially around the time of the eclipse. Taurus, the eclipse is occurring in your 5th house. The 5th house represents relationships with your children, your love life, education, and using your intelligence to make appropriate decisions. It also rules your creativity. Some Taurus may make major decisions regarding their love life. Mostly it could be making a firm commitment in their love life. For those that have children, they may think about or make plans on how to handle their children's education and future plans. Taurus will try their best to improve their relationship with their children and spend a lot more quality time with them, especially if they feel that they have not been doing that previously. If you have adult children, make sure you have a good relationship with them. Lots of Taurus will be thinking about financial planning and investing, but my guidance would be to not make any decisions or changes for up to 2 weeks after the eclipse period, because your choices and decisions may not be the best at this time. So wait to make financial decisions or investments for up to 2 weeks after the eclipse. It's a very creative time for Taurus, so there's a good chance that they initiate something new that could be of a creative nature. It could be related to a hobby or related to their profession if they're in the creative field. In fact, Taurus in the creative field could do exceptionally well after the eclipse also. For Taurus, I'm suggesting doing mantra chanting because it will be especially beneficial in regards to making wise choices, as well as positivity in all their relationships. The fifth house rules mantra chanting as well. Gemini, the eclipse is in your fourth house. The fourth house is about mental happiness, real estate matters, and your mother. This eclipse relates to mental stress and real estate related matters. For some, it could be a phase where they relocate or at least are thinking about relocating. Some Geminis may be thinking about having a real estate transaction or even purchasing a vehicle at this time. There is also the possibility of having renovations or redecorating in the home. Especially if you are a creative or artistic person yourself, then you may do the creative decorating yourself. Chances of someone from your childhood coming back is also possible. This is related to where your mental stress ends and some happiness returns in your life because of this person coming back in your life. So the lesson for Gemini is to introspect about how you can be less stressed and happier in your life. Remember to take care of your mother also at this time. Cancer, the eclipse is happening in your third house. This is a good house to have an eclipse in, because this is also a good time to press the reset button on, because this is a house of energy, initiative, and courage. So here we go. You put an end to the past obstacles, and with your renewed focus and energy, you will be able to move forward in your new initiatives. It's a great time to go on job interviews or start new projects of any kind. There could be some changes in your relationship with your siblings, and so become aware of that and manage your communication with them accordingly. There could also be lots of short travels in the next couple of months for Cancers. Communication is key this time. Third house represents communication, so make sure you don't get over assertive with others, especially family members such as parents and siblings, because that could be perhaps not end well for you. So the third house represents communication, and this is going to be very key, especially during the solar eclipse phase. You may find yourself having not so nice communication and being over assertive or bossy or even combative with others. This is something you need to avoid, especially around the eclipse phase. Leo, the eclipse is in your second house, and the second house represents family, finance, food that we eat, and our speech. By family, I mean all family, even extended family. There could be some changes that occur within the family or relationship changes in the family dynamics. I do mean extended family, like I said as well. There could be weddings, there could be new babies, there could be separations of any and all kinds of changes are possible within the family structure up to 3 months after the eclipse. It's also possible that Leo is now considering big changes in their financial structure or changing their investment and savings portfolio. What I mean is that there could be some movement in finances from one type of investments to another. Some type of asset management may also be going on. My guidance is to do it very cautiously and read the fine print at this time. Don't do anything impulsive. Also, my guidance is to resolve any and all conflicts within the family structure. Make sure you don't really create new conflicts, and rather this is the perfect time to resolve any old, long-standing matters or conflicts that have been upsetting the family in some way. The solar eclipse is guiding you to resolve any issues that have been especially related to finance matters that have been going on within the family, that have been bothering the family dynamics or relationships. This is the time that you could initiate understanding and resolution of those conflicts. So this is a time to do that. But in that process, don't create new conflicts. Make sure you just resolve the old ones. Like I said, this is a good time for that. Also, you need to be very careful about what you eat, because you could end up with some digestive issues. So be careful about what you eat as well. For Virgo, the eclipse is occurring in your own ascendant house, which signifies your physical body, and it also signifies you as a person, yourself, your whole body and your mind. So this basically indicates that the eclipse is going to begin a period of transformation for Virgo. This transformation could be physical, at a physical level, or even at the internal psychological, mental level as well. Now, the next couple of months would be at a time when you get rid of all the bad health habits you may have, but you may also have been procrastinating about. So make all the necessary changes as far as maintaining good health is concerned. In fact, some Virgos might even be interested in getting some kind of a makeover, change in hairstyle, try a different fashion style of clothes. But basically, this is regarding Virgo's health. This is also the time that Virgos should introspect within themselves and identify what they need to change about themselves at an internal level to become a new and improved version of themselves. They need to remove the mental blockages that they have been preventing them to grow in life or to even be happy in life. So the eclipse might provoke them to make these changes within themselves by letting go of habits that they no longer serves them well, and adopting or adapting new behaviors that contribute to more happiness. So basically, for Virgo, this is about transformation. The transformation could be related to their health. Transformation could be related just to their physical body and how they look, but the transformation really needs to be about changing themselves internally, becoming a better version of themselves and becoming more happier. Virgo has probably not been happy at the internal level for a long time, and so they need to introspect within themselves about what it is that prevents them from being happy, and then making sure that they take the steps to remove all those obstacles that are preventing them from becoming happier in their life, enjoying their life, and then start to enjoy their life. So this is what the transformation for Virgo should be about. That's what the solar eclipse is all about for Virgo. Libra, the eclipse is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is one of spirituality, foreign travel, as well as expenses and loss. So this eclipse is reminding you to take a look at your expenses and why they may have been so high, or it's possible that the eclipse or the expense or loss situation has been stressing you out. So now you need to do a very detailed analysis on how to manage your expenses and maybe cut out the unnecessary spend. Now, if you already find that you're managing that well, you don't have any unnecessary spend, then you need to tell yourself of why you're under so much stress. If you're already at that point where you're only spending unnecessary things, then you really need to tell yourself not to worry about it. If you do have, all that unnecessary spend and you cut it out, then you need to, again, become stress-free. Either way, the eclipse wants you to start focusing on spirituality rather than the materiality. So you need to learn that there's more happiness and true joy in spirituality rather than chasing material desires. The eclipse also wants you to forget about all those past issues which have caused you emotional hurt, which you are still holding within yourself. It's time to let go of all the past emotional baggage and move forward with the healing of the past pain. So basically, heal the emotional scars within yourself, and this would make you happier and your life a lot easier. Some Libras may travel abroad, and some may even get interested, like I said, in spirituality a lot. This eclipse for Libras is basically about letting go of material desires, worries, expenses, and moving towards a more spiritual life. Scorpio, the eclipse for you is occurring in your 11th house, and this is the house of gains, desires, fulfillment, and social circle. So this eclipse will have a very positive impact on Scorpio because it will have positive impact on your social connections and professional network of connections. You may have opportunities for growth of your social circle, and you may get connected with important or high-level people during this time. These new connections would be very helpful and supportive of you in the long term, or in the fulfillment of your desires and wishes. My guidance is not to miss any networking or social opportunity. You get to meet new people and make new friends, so don't miss any opportunity to do that. The eclipse is also reminding you that you should make new goals and plans for the future, and then put them in action plan in motion to achieve them. These new goals could relate to any cherished desire or wish that you have had for a while. This is also an excellent time for doing any manifesting remedy or practice. The main energy of these eclipses around, like I said, the 11th house, which is wish fulfillment, desires, and social connections. So what the eclipse is trying to tell you is to make sure you have positive connections with with social people or social connections, and also make sure that you give back to them as well. This isn't about selfishness and making sure that you connect with people and think about this is what everybody can do for me. In turn, you also have to do for them. So this is the energy of the eclipse. It's very favorable for Scorpio. Don't just think about what others can do for you. Make sure you also think about what you can do for others, and that's how this positivity will grow further and manifest your wishes and desires. So again, like I said, Scorpio, this is a positive eclipse for you. Sagittarius, this eclipse is in your 10th house. The 10th house represents your career, status, name, and fame. So it's a very, very important house in today's world. This is not the time to take your job for granted. There could be the start of a new phase in your career at this time. Although this new phase could be something that you initiate, or it could also be involuntary as well, depending upon the dashas that you're currently under. So you need to be very careful how you manage your career at this time. My guidance to you is to make sure that your relationship with your seniors is well maintained, and your work performance is totally up to par. So you may have to change your approach to your work and get a little more serious. In the past, you may not have had this approach, and now this is going to be the change that you need to make. So some Sagittarius could get new job opportunities, but my guidance is to not be very impulsive and grab anything that comes your way that is offered to you. You should check out each opportunity or offer very thoroughly and read the fine print carefully. You'd rather be safe than sorry later on. So this is not the time. This eclipse is telling you to let go of bad work habits that you may have had, or maybe in the past you didn't take your work very seriously. This probably the eclipse is trying to tell you that this is not the time where you neglect your work. This is the time to work hard. This is the time to maintain very good relationships with your coworkers, especially with your boss. Sometimes it's the time where you just have to listen to your boss because he or she is the boss, and this is that time. So make sure you let go of bad work habits, take on a new approach to your job, appreciate your job, and that's what the eclipse is trying to tell you. Capricorn, the eclipse is in your 9th house, and the 9th house represents your luck, religion, higher education, gurus, mentors, as well as your father. So this eclipse brings an opportunity for a religious or a spiritual event that will have a lot of meaning in your life, and a lot of emotion will come through this event. You may be drawn towards your religion and spirituality due to the pressures of life. In fact, some Capricorns might search for a guru or a spiritual coach in their life to help them introspect or overcome the tough times in their life right now. So for Capricorn, this is a very deep meaning eclipse. Some Capricorns may receive special blessings from their ancestors during this time. So if you're lucky enough to have your father in your life, please make sure you maintain a very positive relationship with him during this life. I'm urging Capricorn to make sure they do the Pitra Paksha, the Shraadh ritual at this time. Some Capricorns may pursue higher education and finalize their higher educational path at this time. And some of them may even have to travel overseas in order to complete their higher education. So for Capricorn, this has a very special meaning because the eclipse The sun represents our father, and the ninth house that the eclipse is happening in for Capricorn also represents their father. And so this is a time for Capricorn that they need to connect with their religion and their father, if the father figure is in their life. If not, then they need to turn towards religion or spirituality in a very deep level and connect with them. Some of this Capricorn might not be having a very they might be going through some troubled times at this time, and the answer to that will be that they need to connect with a guru or a mentor or a life coach to help them through this tough time. And they may just do it on their own, or may be being pulled towards that energy, the religious energy, spiritual energy. So this is a very special time for Capricorn for this eclipse to happen in their ninth house. If they do turn towards their religion, they do tend to get lots of good blessings in their life at this time, and they activate their luck factor. So for Capricorn, like I said, it's very good blessings because it also activates their luck factor, because the ninth house is the house of luck. So Capricorn, do turn towards your religion, your spirituality. And if you have not done the Pitra Paksha, or if they haven't done their Shraadh rituals, then I have a video on that. Please do watch it and make sure you do it, because it's a little more special for Capricorn because it's in the ninth house, and the ninth house is our house of ancestors. Good luck. Aquarius, the eclipse is occurring in your 8th house. The 8th house is perhaps the most challenging house of all the 12 houses in astrology because it denotes obstacles and delays. On the positive side, it denotes sudden unearned income, but its main signification is transformation. So Aquarius can certainly expect that this solar eclipse will bring about a sudden transformation in themselves. This transformation would most likely be at a psychological level. The eclipse will provoke Aquarius to introspect within themselves, to see what makes them happy and what it is that they want from life. This is deep thinking eclipse for Aquarius. They will actively start making plans to working towards their desires and letting go of what they think they no longer need or want in their life. Now, this is all very good, but my caution here is that they should be very careful that they don't act in haste or impulsively. Rather, they need a very good life coach or mentor or spiritual teacher that can guide them on how to make this transformation slowly and take on a very positive approach, or take it in a very positive manner. Aquarius should also be careful about making sudden career changes or financial decisions at this time, because the chance of loss is very high. So making investment decisions up to 2 weeks after the eclipse are discouraged. Now, as I mentioned, some Aquarius could have unearned income, such as insurance settlements or even inheritance a few months after the eclipse. Some Aquarians might even get very interested in topics like astrology and numerology, because these are also signified by the 8th house. Now, basically, this transformation that I'm talking about for Aquarius is manifold. It could definitely be very psychological. Like I said, Aquarius has been going through a lot because Saturn is transiting in their own ascendant house that's provoking them, mostly about their life, but mostly related to career related things in their life. A lot of Aquarius has probably not been very satisfied with their career. They may feel that they don't have the success that they deserve, that they're working too hard and yet they don't get what they deserve. So all these thoughts are going through Aquarius's mind, and now that Ketu and the eclipse is happening in their 8th house, they feel they don't want to do whatever they've been doing. They want to make significant changes, or they want to do something different. I'm cautioning those Aquarius that don't do anything rash, don't do anything sudden, because this eclipse will provoke you to do that. And so don't just do it because all of a sudden you think this is not what you want something different, because this will change after the eclipse. This will change after next year. So be very wary about what you do right now. Don't make sudden changes. Like I said, let the time pass, let the time of the eclipse pass, and then see what you want to do. But make plans for the future. Think about what you want, but don't put them into action very quickly. But think through things before you do something sudden. Pisces, the eclipse is occurring in your 7th house. The 7th house represents marriage, spouse, and partnerships, and this includes business partnerships if you are in a situation where you have a business and you have a partner. So this eclipse energy is guiding you to make very positive changes in your relationship with your spouse, as well as relationship you may have with your business partner. Like I said, if that applies to you, you need to think about all the negative traits that you may be bringing into the relationship, such as being overly demanding, being inflexible in your attitude, and refusing to understand the other person's viewpoint. You now need to initiate a refreshing new energy into the relationship by being supportive, adaptable, and taking a more flexible approach. This eclipse is the alignment of the body, mind, and soul the most for Pisces and Virgo ascendants, perhaps because the eclipses have occurred in their 1-7 axis of their charts. So this applies most to Virgo and Pisces when I mentioned that, the body, mind, and soul alignment. So that means it is time to balance their energy with that of others and bring whatever transformation is necessary within themselves so that they start to enjoy others rather than having constant friction with others or being in an unhappy situation because of others. Some Pisces may also think about starting some new business ventures now, especially related to creativity or working with their hands to create items or create things. So like I mentioned, Pisces now needs to align their energy as far as their body, mind, and soul energy with other people. Obviously with their spouse and business partners the most, but with everybody else. And they may, when they introspect, they may feel that they've been sort of out of alignment with almost everybody. They may not have thought alike with their siblings, with their parents. They may have kind of felt like they're out of sync with others. And now this eclipse happens in their 7th house. The 7th house is also all the other people that you come in contact with. When the 7th house is opposite to the 1st house, the 1st house being your 7th, the 7th house is opposite. So it's everybody else that you come in contact with. So this eclipse is reminding you to balance out your energy with yourself and everybody else that you come in contact with, because now this is the 1-7 axis, and this is the alignment of the mind, body, and soul, not just for yourself but with everybody else. You may have felt, like I mentioned, out of sync with other people's energy. You may have not felt like you understood other people, or people not understanding you. And so now here's the time where you don't blame everything on others and say, well, other people don't understand me. Now's the time when you kind of introspect within yourself and you try to think about, why is it that people may not understand you? Why is it that people don't agree with you? Or why is it that people are maybe not cooperating with you? And think about your role in those relationships and what you can to change yourself, as opposed to trying to change everybody else or thinking that everybody else is wrong. So this is what this eclipse is reminding you to do, is change your own energy, change yourself a little bit, become more adaptable, become more flexible, so you're more in tune with other people's energy. And with this, I come to the end of my video. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope this is going to be useful to you, and I hope I've been able to provide some good guidance in interpreting the eclipse for you. I will see you very soon on my next video. Goodbye for now, and good luck to everybody.